So I'm Katie Thompson. I am your account manager for STEMscopes Science in Georgia. I've been working with STEMscopes for a year, and prior to that, I was in education in Georgia for 15 years through very different positions. I taught and was an administrator, and also a coordinator of professional learning for one of the RESAs here in Georgia. So, we're excited about our PLCs that we're starting here in Georgia. This is really our first one that we're doing. They're going to eventually be ways to support you as educators, and there will be more dialogue between everyone, and it won't be so much of us talking from the STEMscope side of things. But we'll always give you updates and information about that. So my information is right here, my email address. Also here with us is on our Georgia team is Karen. Karen does inside sales for us, and she works out of the Houston, Texas office. So we're excited to have her. Also, Kim Moore who is not on here today, but she is our new Georgia math account manager for math. So we're just starting with math in Georgia, and she will be your account manager for math. And then Valerie Sellers is on here as well. If you don't already know Valerie, she is known throughout the state of Georgia for being an awesome PD trainer. So we have Valerie with us today, who does our training, almost all of our training here in Georgia. So we're excited to have her with us. If you look in the chat box already, I have already put a link in there to the agenda. I have hyperlinked all of the information in the agenda so you can get to it. But in the chat box is a link to the agenda, so you should be able to get to it. If you are on Twitter, have a Twitter handle, please, if you'll put it in the chat box along with your email address, and follow us. STEMscopes has a Twitter handle as well as myself. And then STEMscopes Georgia GA is Valerie. And then Kim has a Twitter handle as well. And we share out a lot of information, various ways, emails, but Twitter, especially for me, is one of my ways to get information out, updates, and just, collaborate. So those are our Twitter handles right there. Just wanted to share that with you. We are going to start out on an awesome note. We've got some awesome information for you today, but I'm very, very excited to have Jennifer with us from our Houston office, who is going to share some amazing updates so that you guys, if you have been using STEMscopes, you're going to be super excited about this. It's just, there's amazing updates that are being added currently. So I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer for a minute.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Jennifer Fonsteil. I am on our academic team. So I actually manage the team that handles all of our digital publishing. So everything you see on the platform there, my team's the one who puts it all up there for you. So there's two main things we're going to go over today. One are those virtual learning scopes. I just kind of want to point them out to you and kind of show you the intention behind them. When schools, at least in the Texas area, shut down last March, and we could tell that we were going in this all virtual or hybrid environments, we reached out to a lot of our teacher users and what do y'all need as educators to help you navigate through this or still bring good science education to your students? And the biggest concern we came across was the idea of how do you do hands-on learning in a virtual environment? Because you can't ship a box of all the lab materials to your kids, and especially at your secondary levels, there are just some biology and chemistry and physics labs you don't want your kids attempting to do by themselves at home. So we, a lot of people within our company, our academic team, as well as many of our trainers and our sales representatives here, all jumped in. A lot of us got to get our teacher feet wet again. It was kind of nice. And we filmed the experiments in the labs, the hands-on portions, in a way that the students could watch and then extract data and answer questions. And so it was a way for them to view the labs being done in a virtual environment without having to have the materials there in person. So I'm going to show these to you. You should already have these. So when you log into your access and you go to scopes, if they don't automatically pop up here at the very top, like you see here, if you go to grades and scroll down, you'll see virtual learning. And so they're all together. You should have all four, because we do realize that sometimes a middle school standard in one state may be a high school standard in another, or vice versa, or that you may have a kid who's really struggling and you need to give them support and go down, or a kid that's really advanced and you want to be able to extend their learning. So you can use the activities from all the different grade levels. So I'm going to use the middle school one as the example. So what we've done is we've gone in and broken in activities down by physical life or earth and space. And we started this process by going through and analyzing the standards across all the different editions. And we have like 30 different states that we have custom content for. And we tried to find those standards or that content that was very similar across multiple editions, because we want to make this as widespread and usable as possible. So you'll notice here that each of these different activities underneath have a new title. And so that's what is being taught during that one. And when you click on it, this gray box is your teacher information. It gives you a description of what the students are going to be learning and doing. And then it also down here, depending on which edition you're in, and so y'all are Georgia, says, hey, if you're going to use this virtual learning lab for your students to do at home, here is the scope you want to go to pull additional information. Maybe you want to give them the STEMscopedia or the picture vocabulary or the reading signs or something else that's easy for them to do at home. Here's where you would go to find the other activities that kind of go along with this one. It is possible that this particular activity is your same Explore, or it may be one from one of our other editions that also just aligns well to y'all's content for that, whatever that scope is. And then the students, when you assign it, so you use the little green Assign to Students button, when they log into their STEMscopes platform, they can then do the assignment. They see starting at this purple box down. So they're given a video. Let's see who's in this one. Let's see if anybody we know. And so like this one's 15 minutes long. They sometimes vary. We try not to make them too long because then the kids get bored. So some of them you may see with multiple videos broken up throughout the course of the activity. And so this one that shows the person doing the experiment with the kids here. And then they're given the ability to digitally insert the answer. So on this one, they can watch this video, and as they're doing that, insert the data here. The green boxes are for the teacher. The kids don't see those. And then they have questions that they can answer. Some of the experiments are longer. Some of them are shorter. You do get some claim evidence reasonings thrown in with these as well to get your kids really thinking about what it is they did. But when you assign it out and they log into their portal and they submit it, they fill all that out digitally and then hit the turn in button. And then you go up here to your sections and you can grade it all digitally. So it allows you to still do some portion of this hands-on learning in an at-home environment. We are still very slowly because these, especially the secondary ones, take a lot more. They're way more interactive. So you may still see a few more pop up throughout the rest of this month or next month. And so you have lots of different options on the content you can share with your students there. So like I said, these should already be on your platform. If they're not, contact one of the lovely ladies from STEMscopes here, and they can work with our subscription people to make sure you have them, because you should already have them in your access. So that's the first big thing that we did to try to help teachers still do this great hands-on science in a virtual, not in school environment. The other thing that we are doing in Georgia specifically, and this is just specifically for Georgia, and I'm going to use this 5th grade scope as my example, but the same types of things are being done in all your middle school and high school scopes as well, is we are going through and making more of these activities able to be assigned digitally and done digitally at home. So currently, like, y'all could already do the reading science, right? You could send this out. You had that assigned to students. They could read it, answer the questions, and submit it back to you. You had things like the STEMscopedia that you could already do that with. Well, we're going through and adding more of these elements. So the first one you'll see is the engage, and you may notice as these start rolling out, you're just going to start seeing them pop up in elements. It's in scopes. It's not like suddenly in January they're all going to be there. You may not have a digital engage today, and it may show up there for you tomorrow. So you'll start seeing if the blue S's disappear, If I click on my teacher page, you'll see this view student button over here. And that's how you get to the digital portion of this activity. So your teacher page is exactly the same as it always was. Used to, you would have to go to that student page to get handouts and then go back to the teacher page to get supplemental documents or to get answer keys. We've now put all of those files here together in one spot. So you're not jumping from place to find all your files. Everything you need for that element is now here. And if you hit this view student button, where possible, we have gone in and set it up so that when you assign it to students, they could actually do this activity in a digital format and submit it back for you to be able to grade online. So there's an example of one of our engages. We're doing the same thing for the Explore. And so once again, you hit that Explore teacher guide and your teacher materials are all the same. We have moved all the files over here, and then you see that view student button. Now, one thing I do want to point out for these were written to be hands-on activities. So there are still components of these. It's not like you can assign this and they can do the whole Explore 100% virtually. What we are doing are these supplemental documents like these memory cards and these trait cards, things like that. If how they were intended to use those can be done in a digital format, we are putting it on the site like that. So for example, this memory card, they were playing memory to match inherited and acquired traits. And so we were able to have the students do that in a digital format. So they can do that one. And then this is what they would have been writing, but since they can drag the cards on there, it's a little less typing for the kids. And then, but like this one where they're supposed to be getting data from the classroom, they still have to gather data somewhere. Whether you put a comment on this page when you assign it that says, hey, talk to your parents and get this information, or call your friends, or you do this in a Zoom meeting or a thing where you do it and they fill it out in a digital format, that works. But then they're able to do all of the journal pages here digitally and then submit it back to you for a grade. So those are the two big hands-on pieces that we are putting the supplemental documents in the handouts in a digital format for you. The other big one that a lot of people asked about was our linking literacy. So this is a great way to try to help the kids organize their thinking as they're going through that nonfiction reading piece. So once again, the teacher page is the same, and you have that view student button, and now they have their pre-reading. They have a link that when they open it up, they can see the STEMscopedia here. So they will be able to toggle back and forth between the STEMscopedia and their linking literacy page. And that way they can do their during reading, and then they have the post-reading activities. On this one, you'll want to make sure you stress the kids that when they're done with pre-reading, they hit that save button on their login so it doesn't lose their information. And then this is a really good shortcut for the students. When they go back in to do their during reading, they can just hit that little during reading and it'll jump it directly down to that portion on the page, and same thing for their post-reading. So this allows them to do these literacy connections at home. Under Elaborate, we added the math connection. So previously when you clicked on this button, it was just the PDF. And so now the PDFs have been moved over here. You gained that assign to students button, and the handout is now here able to be done in a digital format. This is a great one to use because this does not require any teacher guidance. This is one of those ones that can be 100% independently done at home, just like the reading science or the science today is. And then finally, under our intervention, the concept attainment quiz is now available to be done digitally, and those handouts are here, as well as the guided practice. So with the guided practices, once again, just like the Engage and that Explore, they're really designed to be teacher-led and hands-on. So where it makes sense and where it's possible to put that information in a digital format, we did. So all the handouts will be over here on your right-hand side, and then your view student you can see. So like this one, they were sorting pictures between inherited and learned behaviors, and so they can do that in a digital format. The nice thing is if you were doing a Zoom class with your kids, you could tell them, hey, go log into STEMscopes, click guided practice, and you could still do it in a semi-hybrid like environment, or you could send it out and have them do it independently. Not all guided practices or engages or explorers will be able to be done 100% by the kids this way. Some of it's still going to require some additional teacher information. If you were wanting to film videos or things like that for the kids, you do have this comment section. So if you add a comment here, the students see that whenever you make that assignment, or when you assign to your students, you have a spot for a note. So if you want to put a video in your Google Drive and throw a link here for them to watch to go along with that, to fill in where you would normally do that, that is all available for you to be able to do as well. So you can share additional information with your kids as you assign this to them. So those are all the new things that you will be able to assign digitally. Like I said, they will just randomly start popping up. So like we're of course starting in kindergarten, so y'all's will, as secondary, will come in a little later. The plan is to have them all done for January 1st. So when you come back from Christmas break, everything that should be up there in a digital format for you. All right. I know that was kind of fast and furious. Anybody have any questions about that? All right. Well, I know that they have lots of other great things to share with you about what's going on with our Georgia product and our Georgia curriculum. If you'll have any questions, feel free to reach out to me if you need. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Jennifer. We appreciate you helping with us, sharing
No
the information. Thank you. Okay, give me just 1 second. Ooh, we don't want to do that. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so back to going through our agenda and looking at this. I do want to mention that STEMscopes science is the #1 used science curriculum in the state of Georgia. We are used more than any other science curriculum, and there is several reasons for that. We are directly aligned with the Georgia Standards of Excellence, with science standards exactly lined up. You won't find any holes or gaps within our curriculum. Also, on top of it being the largest curriculum in the state of Georgia, Georgia is the 3rd largest state that uses STEMscopes within the entire United States. So it's Texas, California, and then Georgia. So we are widely used across the state. If you ever want to get any contact information of a district that's using it, I will be glad to share some contact information of districts who have been using our product for years now. I'll be glad to share that information with you as well. But it is, there's a reason why we're the most utilized science curriculum in the state of Georgia. And I'm going to lead into that with Valerie is going to kind of go over some things with you. And these are some of the things this is why we are the #1 science provider in the state of Georgia. And so Valerie's going to share some information with you.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces out there as I have traveled all over the state of Georgia in training. I wanted to share a couple of things with you. One of them, as Jennifer was talking about with the virtual, I went into the student side and I logged in as a student, what they would see. And one of the things that they are able to look at whenever they are in here, if they have learning resources available to them, they do have access to that virtual learning that will always be there. So they do have that tab under learning resources that will be there for them as well. So even if they're not assigned, they are there. And one of the other things I wanted to talk about with those virtual learning scopes is that whenever you go into the middle school ones, they will have on here where it will say Georgia 8th grade physical science standard 4D. Now, as Jennifer kind of alluded to, these are really scopes that they've chosen that covers the most states. So most of the time they're going to be in GSS lessons, not necessarily Georgia Standard of Excellence edition. So what you want to make sure that your teachers do before they use them is to go into their grade level scope and go into their 8th grade one. Find that scope that it closely matches to. And I think it was here. And then go into that home tab under Standards Unwrapped. Look at that and make sure that what the students are doing and what they will know matches to that virtual scope. That makes sure that it perfectly aligns that GSE. They may need to pull some extra activities out to make sure that matches. Now, I did notice whenever I was looking at it before, when you go into the high school does not give you that. If you look at high school, you get carrying capacity. So when I pull this one up, it is going to tell me, when it decides to load, that it's a 3D edition, but it doesn't tell me anything about what it matches up to Georgia. So high school teachers usually know where it is in their scopes, but they're going to need to look at their scopes and see what exactly this is going to go with. So whenever they go back to the Georgia edition and they go into biology, this one is going to match up to this one here with the biodiversity and populations and systems. So they might have to do a little bit more work. And here it will talk about capacity in these. And so they can match it up and see how it goes along with it, and they can do that data literacy activity that's under the virtual scope. So just know that using those virtual ones, they're gonna have to tweak it a little bit and work with it to make it perfectly aligned with the GSEs. Those virtual ones are great and wonderful, but just know that they need to check it against their standards. Also, I wanted to share with y'all what I've shared with a lot of teachers with the STEMscopedia. To help make it interactive with students and get that engagement in, I've been showing a lot of the teachers how to use that comment section, using that whole comment where they can type in for notes, and they can break up that STEMscopedia into chunks, and they can say, read the reflect section and add highlights. Okay. Then I'm going to save this, and when they come down to the reflect section, they may tell them, I always highlight that very first word and I add a comment, just this little button here, and I can tell them what I want them to focus in on. So I may say highlight organisms that are can't spell when I'm trying to talk. I'll say it that way. Now they can go through, and the students know to click on this, read that direction, and maybe hit on highlight something in here and pull up that highlight and be able to do that with it. And then that makes them be able to interact with it. And they can see what the teacher's putting in when they turn it in. The teacher can click on it, see what they're putting in, and it gives them a chance to be interactive virtually. So we're really trying to hit on this and really show you the virtual aspects. Also, one other thing I want to point out is whenever your teachers are working with your students live, and they may want to show them one of the pages, when they come down here to the answers, it shows up on theirs. They have this little eyeball here. It's called the teacher eye is what I call it. And if you close that, it takes the answers off. So they can be working with them and talking through some of this without showing them the answers. So they can have those discussions with them and then take that teacher eye back on when they want to come back and look at the answers on their own. So hopefully that helps. Any questions on
Awesome. Thank you, Valerie. Yeah, there's just so, if you have been, your district has been using STEMscopes, if your district or your school has been using STEMscopes for a while now, you'll know that these updates that you're seeing, that Valerie's showing and that Jennifer showed, are just, they're really awesome, especially right now during these times where we're uncertain of the style of learning that our students are going to be in next week or next month. So these updates are really important for the success of our students. I also want to mention that the I lost my place. Sorry. One second. Okay. I also want to mention transient and mobile student rate. So transient rates in Georgia, if I'm sure within your districts, are very high, as they are in my school district and I live in, the one that I worked in as an administrator, and the ones that I worked in as a professional learning coordinator for West Georgia RESA. Our districts in Georgia, our students are very transient. So they hop from school to school a good bit within a district, and then sometimes they go inside of a district and back outside of the district, back and forth, back and forth. Well, we know that that puts a delay in student learning. Automatic to be able to go in to a new school, have to learn the way that a new school runs, all new students, new classmates, new teachers, that all delays learning. As a subscription to STEMscopes, if you're looking at a subscription to STEMscopes, the district level subscription helps our transient students more because that's not one extra thing that they have to learn when they're switching schools. We have a lot of STEMscopes that's being purchased, that is purchased school by school in Georgia. That is more than district wide, just because of the way that districts do their funding. But looking at our transient rate, especially we have migrant workers in Georgia with our agriculture, that we do have a lot of students moving in and out. And a curriculum like STEMscope Science allows students to just pick up where they left off at their last school. So I want to get on here and show you the funding for STEMscopes in Georgia. So that's usually a question that I get a lot is okay, how can I fund STEMscopes for my school or my district? These are some of the, I've listed some of the ways that I have worked with different schools and districts, and I have been able to help them look for funding to fund STEMscopes within their district. Of course, Title I, Title II, and Title IV are all are great ways to fund STEMscopes. I have districts that use those, especially Title I and Title II funds. Those are used a lot at the school level. eSPLOS, some districts that if the county has eSPLOS funds, they are looking at using eSPLOS funds to purchase STEMscopes Science. So that's a way some of the districts are using. If you're an L4GA school or district, some of our districts are using L4GA funds because there's such a huge integration of ELA and literacy. With that information on there, that integration of ELA literacy in our curriculum, they are able to use the L4GA funds. Then the 21st Century Grant funding, which is an after-school funding that some districts have, they are using those funds, and then also mental health and wraparound service funding. So that social emotional learning funding that was dropped last year and continues, that is also a way that it's being funded. So you'll see in here, we actually did a research study about 2 months ago. A research study was done on schools that use STEMscope Science and how it increases, there's an increase in the school GMAS scores of those schools and districts that use STEMscope Science. So there's a positive correlation between the ELA GMAS scores and in the schools that use STEMscope Science. So you'll see in here, these are supporting documents. So if you need to take it to your administrator, take it to your superintendent, these are artifacts that you can take with you. So we have that one that was recently done. That, like I said, that one was just done two months ago. We also have another research study that was done a couple of years ago that is in here as well. Also looking at the increase of academic achievement in students. In addition to that, social emotional learning, I do have a document in here that shows the support of the use of STEMscopes, especially now in our current environment of hybrid models and virtual and face-to-face, that STEMscopes supports social emotional learning. So being able to use that mental health, social emotional learning, wraparound services, that funding that was dropped, that document is in there so that you can use that to support your purchase. So I'm going to move on down to a couple other things, and then we'll start to wrap up and take any questions, of course. I want to mention to you about the upcoming conferences and science PD days in Georgia. So we are, STEMscopes is participating in the GSTA mini conference, the first one, which is December the 5th. So if you click on that, it will take you to the registration. So that is the first event that we have coming up. The next one is in February. That's a GSTA, that's the state conference. They have already announced it will be virtual. STEMscopes is participating in it, and that registration is up as well. The third one is the second GSTA mini conference that we'll be doing or participating in, and that is in March. So, and Valerie will be presenting at all of those different events. So we're really excited to be a part of those. If you're not a part of STEMscopes, I mean, if you're not a part of GSTA and you haven't participated with GSTA, they have a lot of great events and a lot of great ways to collaborate. So I have those all hyperlinked in there. Additionally, I want to share with you the upcoming Georgia PLC days. So those are our next 3 PLC days. So today is kind of an introduction to our PLCs. The way this will work from starting now and moving forward will be that it will be more of a collaboration. Schools will share, districts will share how they use STEMscopes science in their schools and their districts. We will be continue to give you updates throughout all of these PLCs that we'll be doing. We'll continue to give you updates and any updated information, but we really want to use this as a time for you to collaborate and share how you're using STEMscope science in your district and how it's being utilized. So it's going to become more of a professional learning community, and it will be less of myself talking and more of us collaborating and coming up with ideas that are best for our students in Georgia. I want to share with you, if you are a current customer or you want to be a customer, either way, I want to let you know that we are having a sale on an end of year sale on our print and our kits and our vocabulary cards. So our print, our full kits, and our vocabulary cards are on sale. Here are the prices. These end December 31st is the last day that we can put in an order for these. Okay, January 1st it'll go back to the regular prices. So if you have ever wanted to purchase kits, if you've ever wanted to purchase print, If you're thinking about next year, now's the time to buy it, because we have never put these on sale. They have never been on sale before. This is the first time, and it will end on December 31st. So I want to make sure to help you get what you need for your schools and your districts. I want to make sure that you can get the best price that you can get. So that information is on there.
Katie, would that be the date of the purchase order or the day in which you received the order? The 12/31 date.
That would be the date of the purchase order.
Okay.
The purchase order has to be in by the 31st.
Okay.
Yes. Good question. Thank you. Yeah, so the purchase order needs to be in by the 31st of December to get that price. Our kits are wonderful. Right now, I have some districts and schools that are utilizing them by modeling. So the teacher, if they're virtual, then the teacher is modeling using the kits right now. So they're purchasing them that way. And I have some districts that are purchasing them for the upcoming year. Also a combination of both. So it's just a really good time to buy those pieces, because like I said, if you know, STEMscopes Science has never put those pieces on sale, but they are until December 31st. So I want to share with you, if you have any questions about that, please feel free to email me. Anything with ordering, either Karen or myself, or it will be your science account managers. And so you can reach out to either one of us. If you're not sure which one of us is your account manager, you can contact either one of us, and we will send you to the other person if we're not your account manager. I do want to share with you the Georgia YouTube playlist. So STEMscopes has a one second. Sorry about that. STEMscopes has a actual channel for on YouTube. So in this channel, you will find a lot of lessons, information. You'll find a lot of different information about different lessons, different schools, different activities, all kinds of stuff on this on our YouTube channel for STEMscopes. But because Georgia is so different as far as our standards go with the Georgia Standards of Excellence, we wanted to make sure that we were meeting your needs as far as the state standards go. So what we did was we created a Georgia playlist. So if you go to the main STEMscopes YouTube channel and you click on the Georgia playlist, you will find videos that are just directed just for Georgia. So you'll see lessons in there. Valerie will be putting more things in there. We'll have a variety of, lessons. And these are things that if you as a school, or you have a teacher, or you have, a coach or someone who would like to submit a video, we'd love to have you submit it. You can just email me. And I will get it up there. I think it's just the administrator in me that I love to see schools and districts shine. And this is one way that that can be done. So we can add if you have videos, we can add that to our playlist for Georgia. But like I said, we just wanted to make sure that we had something that was specific towards Georgia. And so this is the way that we created this. So we'll continue to add items throughout, continuously throughout this. So always, come back and look and see if we've added things in here. So I wanted to share that with you. In closing, we are, like I said earlier, we are going to, this is going to be a professional learning community. So we're going to continue to support each other through this process. And so I have our upcoming PLCs. We have one December the 10th, January the 14th, and February the 11th. And I will let you know that if you have a teacher or a school or, you know, someone that wants to share out what they're doing, please send us an email. Let us know. We would love to have, different schools and different teachers share out that information. We're in a current time where things are hard, and things are, schools are struggling, and with COVID and everything that's going on with that, and so we want to be here to support you. That's what this is about, is to support you as teachers. So in addition to that, I will say, are there any questions for any of us? Okay, so what we have on here is we have a survey. You can click, this is actually hyperlinked. So if you go on the agenda and you click on there, it's actually hyperlinked. But if you want to, if you have a QR reader, you can also do the survey by using our QR code. So if you'll please do that survey, what the survey is for is it is to help us get ready for our next PLC in December. And then in January, we're doing this for you. So we want to make sure we have all of your input that you want and the things that you need. So anything else? Any questions or anything for me? Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it. We know that you're very busy and have a lot going on. Appreciate you taking the time to spend an hour with us and get some good information and some updates. So I hope you have a wonderful fall, and we will talk soon.
Katie, I may have missed it, and I apologize if I did. Could you send us the price list, or are those located somewhere that I just completely missed?
For the sale?
Yes.
Oh, yes. It is hyperlinked in the agenda.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I've got that then.
Yeah. Oh, and I can, if you need me to, I can also send it. You can email me and I can send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got the agenda pulled up, so yes, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Anything else? Well, thank you guys so much for being here with us today. Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate your support. So excited about STEMscopes in Georgia and the new things we have rolling in, and just help supporting our students and getting them ready for career or college or tech school or trade school, whatever they choose. We just want to help them get prepared and get ready. So thank you so much, and have a great
Thank you.
fall.
Stay safe.